All right, sorry about that. I got cut off on my video recorder. The So we were talking about acidic slime's been really good for enchantment hit and obviously against artifacts as well if they're running like chromatic lanterns. I mean that's same as hitting a land. I guess hitting the chromatic lantern is better, but there's some artifacts in the format that I've definitely brought this card in against. And again, just the synergy with the Angel. Centaur Healers, obviously for aggro, just always comes in. The second Craterhoof Behemoth is sometimes Craterhoof Behemoth is really good against Bants. And one of my favorite things about Craterhoof Behemoth is the main reason he was in the deck is we've realized this deck has kind of a weakness towards Planeswalkers because we just don't have any really good way of dealing with it. One of the really good weapons against Planeswalkers is Restoration Angel. Just like, they play a Jason -2M and choose their card, and then we EOT our Restoration Angel, and we're able to take down a Jace. So Angel's one of our best answers to Planeswalkers. And the other thing that's really good against Planeswalkers, since we're not running like Dreadbore or anything like that, or even Oblivion Ring, you don't see that in here, and I'll talk about that in a sec, is I guess I'll talk about why we don't run Oblivion Ring right now. The reason we don't run Oblivion Ring is because you want your Mulches and Grizzly salvages in this deck to be as consistent as possible. So when you start tweaking with this deck, if you notice, we have very few cards in this deck that are actually completely irrelevant in the graveyard. Actually, the only ones are obviously lands, but lands are still relevant in the graveyard with Deathrite Shaman, and same with these. But the only other ones are these three cards, but you kind of need these cards in the deck because they're the enablers of the deck. So, but we're not running a very high number. So our Mulches and Grizzly salvages are very pretty. Like generally, when you mulch, you hit like land or land, and then you hit like very relevant spells. Like you'll hit a Thragtusk and a Restoration Angel into your graveyard, which doesn't seem like much now, but when you play your Angel of Serenity later, when you cavern it into play and get a bunch of really good creatures from your graveyard back, it looks much better. Although if you're going against aggro, you'll just Angel of Serenity all their dudes, but that's just as good. So the Hoof originally used to be a Planeswalker killer until we discovered Zealous Conscripts. Zealous Conscripts is one of the nastiest ways to deal with Planeswalkers. First of all, you can cavern it into play, because we cavern Naming Human anyways. I'm sorry. The only other way to get it into play is with the Unburial Rites, or if you Deathrite Shaman adding a red, which I've actually done all three ways, but the most common way is caverning it into play. Generally what you do is you let them tick their Tameo up to 8, or their Liliana up to 8, or their, even against Jace, like if they play Jace and -2 and then you untap and, play Zealous, and then steal their Jace -2 it and kill it, get a few cards, and then smash with him, it's really good. The Zealous also works really well with the Restoration Angel, and so does the Craterhoof Behemoth, just being able to, steal multiple things. And this guy's just been awesome against Planeswalkers for us. Planeswalkers still are kind of a problem for this deck, because again, we don't have anything in the main board to deal with them. If they play one on an open board, we don't have a lot of ways of effectively dealing with it, especially if it's something with some control, like Tameo or something like that. But yeah, Zealous coming out of the sideboard against Planeswalkers has been great for us. I don't know how this deck is going to fare post Gatecrash. Obviously, it got the Golgari and the Selesnya lands and cards in this set. So next set, all it gets is the Orzhov lands with Godless Shrine. And the cards that come with that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what other cards Gatecrash will bring for this deck, but people are definitely learning how to fight against Reanimator. They've learned that the Rest in Peace is definitely the best card against this deck. Like, a lot of people have been trying Grafdigger's Cage, and it just does not work as well, because the Angel of Serenity, it still works, and even Unburial Rites out of the hand still works, and so it's or does it work against? I don't remember. Does it say creatures can't enter the battlefield? It doesn't matter. The Rest in Peace is the best against this deck. So yeah, I don't think that this deck is going to get as much of an improvement post Gate Crash as it did with Return to Ravnica, but I'm still looking forward to helping this deck evolve. The infinite, with how consistent it is and having the infinite life combo, I think it's an extremely powerful deck. If I were to go to a standard Pro Tour tournament right now, I would either bring this. I would definitely bring this deck just because I'm the most familiar with it. But the only other deck I would possibly consider is some form of Bant control. I wouldn't even touch aggro. So if this is a deck